the insurance sector education and training authorities say that they've opened a criminal case against the Graduate Institute of Financial Sciences, GIFS. Now, it says that the case relates to malicious damage, spreading false information about INSETA and its management, and also ignoring a cease and desist reprimand. Now, GIFS is accusing the INSETA of attempting to de-accredit it as a learning institution. The institution claims that the de-accreditation follows a complaint to the public protector that INSETA has a knowledge of alleged ghost learners who have been awarded fake certificates. Now, it's also been alleged that there have been some tender irregularities. So to further discuss this matter, we joined here in studio by INSETA's CEO Gugu Mkhize. Ms. Mkhize, thanks for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you very much for having us this morning, Sakina.
So as you know, this conversation started last week here on Morning Live, and we did say we would afford you a right of reply. Yes. Feel free to start where you wish in terms of which points you would like to rebut at this stage.
Okay, thank you. So the Insurance Sector Education and Training Authority is a skills development facilitator for the insurance industry. We do deliver skills development through delivery partners such as training providers, including the entity that you interviewed last week. So as a part of our processes, we have policies relating to the accreditation of training providers. And during the time when the investigation started in 2021, we established some irregularities that led to the intention of de-accreditation, which was issued to GIFS in 2022 September. So the allegations that have been leveled against the institution with regards to them being de-accredited because of blowing the whistle on us and submitting various letters to different entities is actually not true, because the timeline of these, the de-accreditation happened in 2022, and the submission of these letters that have been submitted by GIFS to various authorities happened last year in December.
So quite a few things right there. So the de-accreditation aside, just for the time being, do you actually acknowledge that there were ghost learners in the system? Have you picked up on that?
So our records do not show any ghost learners, but in terms of the ghost learners and how the whole conversation started, it was because of an allegation that was made against one of the training providers that they have ghost learners. So in our records, we do not have any ghost learners, and if that information is made available with substantial evidence, it must be submitted to the relevant authorities, who can then take the matter further and do the investigations.
So you're not aware of ghost learners?
No, not in our records. We do not have ghost learners in our records, because the information is uploaded by the training providers to our systems.
So there's also an allegation that many learners have not received their certificate since 2019. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I am. So with regards to the numbers that have been mentioned, if you look at the different newspaper articles and also the interview, there are a lot of numbers being thrown, but I think the one that stands out is the 700. As late as last year, we did receive a submission of the master data, which is what GIFS had submitted to us, to confirm the numbers of the certificates that were outstanding. And according to our records, there is no backlog of certificates amounting to 700. We've gone as far back as even 5 years ago to confirm this information, and it is not accurate to mislead the public and say that there's a backlog of certificates for 700 learners.
So what is the number according to INSETA?
The number, based on the 2020 information that we have looked at, the 2021 and 2022, GIFS has, based on their records that they have given us, there are only 13 certificates which are outstanding, awaiting them to do the quality assurance, which we would do once they have invited us to do that quality assurance. Last week, they submitted another data, which showed that they would like us to do a quality assurance of 106 learners. And these could be a combination of learners that are doing skills programs and also learners who may have completed learnerships who would require certification. But the number 700 is not accurate.
So are you suggesting then that GIFS sat there and lied to us about, these numbers, and that overall in the entire SETA, there's only 13 and now the 100 and however many that you're talking about learners who are awaiting their certificates?
It is based on the information that they have submitted to us. In October last year, and also last week Friday, the information that was submitted to us. We have verified the information with our quality assurance unit, and that's the outstanding information or certificates that are due to be given to GIFS. But as it relates to other training providers, overall, we do not have a backlog of 700 certificates.
We'll come back to this because I think this is a very important issue. With regard to a de-accreditation of GIFS, what is the situation there? And also relating to the court order that was issued. Are they de-accredited? Are they not? And why?
So the de-accreditation came into effect on the 14th of December, as we had written to confirm the de-accreditation with GIFS. They took the matter to court, and as you would be aware, the matter is now sitting with the courts, out of which a court order was issued confirming that they should be re-accredited. We then appealed that decision as the organization, and as it stands now, the de-accreditation stands until the court pronounces otherwise on the matter.
Why is that the case? Because at the moment, the only order that stands says that they should be reinstated, their status as an accredited provider.
It's because we've lodged an appeal, Sakina, and when you have lodged an appeal for a decision that has been made by the court, it means that the decision to de-accredit GIFS according to our records, they are still de-accredited because that decision is pending the court processes, which will be unfolding over the next couple of weeks.
Is that as per your interpretation
yes.
of this law? Because you see, and I ask that because you actually have a court order on the table that says they need to be reinstated. So as it seems right now, because that's the only order that's on the table, so it would seem as though you are actually contravening that court order.
We're not contravening any court order, Kasakina, because we have appealed the decision that was made by the court.
But does that nullify the order that was issued by the court?
It puts in abeyance the court order because we have appealed it.
So as it stands, still, I went to look on your website, it still talks about the de-accredited GIFS, and this is something that they, of course, are also crying foul about, saying that you are actually in contravention of that order.
Yes, they're still de-accredited pending the court processes, which we are following both as INSETA and GIFS.
So coming back to that, why exactly did you de-accredit GIFS?
So an investigation was undertaken in 2021, Sakina, and out of that investigation came some irregularities that GIFS had been found, and we then issued them with a notice to de-accredit them. After the notice of de-accreditation, they then submitted an appeal to the Quality Council for Trades and Occupation, and upon which we then waited for that decision to be made, and the decision or the confirmation of the decision was done in December, and hence we then issued them with the de-accreditation. So it is based on an investigation that was undertaken, and we found some foul play and non-compliance to our own internal policies and processes, quality assurance processes.
Who conducted the investigation?
An independent source that was appointed by ourselves was the one that undertook the investigation.
Were they party to this investigation?
Yes, they were. First of all, we did a verification prior to the investigation being undertaken, GIFS was also invited to take part in and provide information, and unfortunately that information didn't yielded the outcome that proved that they were in the wrong in terms of irregularities.
You say they were invited. Did they actually participate in that investigation?
The investigation was undertaken by this independent service provider or the forensic investigator, and they involved GIFS, and they were invited to take part in the investigation.
Involved them how? Because I'm trying to, understand exactly how this investigation was carried out.
Yes. So the investigation, when it was undertaken, the information that would be investigated through GIFS would have been obtained from GIFS itself, because it was regarding the falsification of information and also concealing information. So GIFS was consulted, and they were given the opportunity to give and provide accurate information, which they failed to do that.
So just in terms of that falsifying information, what exactly are you talking about? And this is just for the benefit of myself and the viewers. We were not privy to this whole process.
Yes. So when we were looking for learner records with GIFS, they said to us that the information, in fact, the investigators, they said that the information had been destroyed during the COVID pandemic. And upon the investigation that was then done, it was discovered that the records were actually not destroyed during the pandemic. So that was the falsification of information.
So I was reading something completely different about a whistleblower who came forward and said that, the portfolios may have been damaged.
Yes.
But GIFS then said that, in fact, those portfolios had already been assessed.
No, that's not true. The investigation actually revealed that the portfolios were not damaged. The information was there, but GIFS did not submit the information.
So again, what is this impasse between GIFS and INSETA actually about? Because for those of us looking on, it's difficult to kind of understand what the nub of the problem is here.
So we work with a number of service providers, Akina, and we work with, they assist us in the facilitation of skills development. And there is no specific issue with regards to GIFS, except that we are following our processes to the latter, and they have been found not to be compliant with our processes, which has led to the de-accreditation of GIFS. It is not to say that we have a vendetta against GIFS, but we are just following our own internal processes.
Because again, it's difficult to follow. How long has this relationship been with GIFS? How long have they been part of INSETA?
GIFS has been registered with INSETA since 2005. And we are an entity that is more than 2 decades old. So it's proper to have this tussle, because you are dealing with institutions that have been there long enough to know and understand the system. But at the same time, we have to comply with our own processes.
So it's not a matter of, them being victimized because of blowing the whistle on these so-called ghost learners. It has nothing to do with that.
Not at all. In fact, we welcome the investigation. If there's an investigation that needs to be undertaken to determine whether there are ghost learners or not in our organization, we welcome that investigation.
QI Solutions, what exactly do they do with INSETA?
QI Solutions was the company that developed this system for us about 3 years ago.
So in terms of the value of that contract, are you able to tell us about that?
I think the contract was about not more than 2 million for developing the MIS system.
And you're confident that all the necessary processes were followed in the commissioning and, of course, the implementation of this particular service provider to provide services?
Yes, we follow the procurement processes.
It's just interesting, something that I picked up in preparation for this, that Sihle Ngubane, who's the chairperson of INSETA board, during Sihle's tenure at the Media Information and Communications Technology, SETA. QI Solutions also did work there. It was said that they were removed due to a lack of performance. And Sihle Ngubane now at INSETA, and QI Solutions again surfaces here. So have you been happy with their performance to date, QI Solutions?
Well, the work that they were supposed to do, they have delivered. We are currently in the stabilization and recovery process to finish some of the maintenance work that was supposed to be done by QI Solutions.
So there were no, you had no complaints from some of your providers, development providers, anyone regarding the work of QI Solutions?
Well, during the development of the system, remember, Sakina, we have been implementing, this system was developed 3 years ago, and with any other systems development, there'll always be teething problems. So one of the major issues with regards to our systems development is the loading of the workplace skills plan by the employers. So when the transition happened, we did have some teething problems at the time.
You didn't have complaints from your own staff about them having to do the work that QI Solutions was supposed to do?
No, we didn't have any
complaints whatsoever
from the staff.
Whether it's the staff, other, service provider, anyone, you had no complaints.
It was the issues relating to the stability of the system, where information was not appearing, and sometimes the information was not according to the expectations and the standards. Yes.
So again, it was said that you failed to publish the value of the QI solution tender, but you told me now it was about 2 million.
Yes.
And so why wasn't that information forthcoming previously?
That information is usually loaded in our website, and I'm not sure why it would be said that we failed to publish the information, because it would be in the tender bulletin.
I actually will go back and follow up on that, but you say that everything was, as it should have been there. Also, there was an accusation that tender approval actually came from board level. Any truth to that?
That is not true. The board is not involved in the procurement processes. The board is the oversight body that is responsible for oversight and strategy direction setting. It's not the approving authority for tenders.
So when all is said and done, and we are looking at, everything that was said, which you have come this morning and basically refuted all the allegations that were made, it seems a good to and fro, but there are learners, there are students who are sitting without the necessary certificates right now. When do you think you will be able to resolve that issue?
I think, let me just clarify that, Sakina, there are no students who are sitting without certificates. As I indicated to you earlier on, based on the information that was submitted by GIFS to us, the 13 learners still need to be quality assured, which means the certificates will only be issued once we get the invitation to come and quality assure those certificates. The information that we received on Friday, that quality assurance process is in relation to the learners that were trained in 2023, and the quality assurance will only be done now for this financial year. So
the students that we were told can't be absorbed into the workplace, you saying that has nothing to do with you as the SETA?
The information must be provided to us so that we can be able to match that information. Unfortunately, GIFS has not been able to provide us with the information that they have been publishing in the media regarding the specific students, because the list they gave us does not have those learners.
So they lied?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that you can confirm with them.
Between you and GIFS, both stories cannot be true. Someone is lying. Either they are lying or you are lying.
Yeah.
So would you be willing to come, both you and GIFS, have a
Yes.
sit down here?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's going to be our best way forward, so that the two of you can sit side by side. You are giving us now an agreement on camera that you will come to this, and we'll bring GIFS, and I think that's only fair that we would have the two of you sit side by side and resolve this matter.
Yes, I think that will be an ideal situation, because I think the information must be provided to us with the specific lenders that they are referring to, because according to our records, we do not have that information at the moment, and the information about the specific lenders that they make reference to, when we cross-reference that information, there is no backlog of certificates, and there are no lenders who are sitting without certificates at home. If the service providers are not providing us the information to quality assure, as an authority, we are unable to then produce the certificates.
Right, so it's a lot of they say. So we've asked Gugu Mkhize to come back. We'll ask GIFS to come back, and then we'll sit them down and they can both sit here and we can get to the bottom of it. But thank you so much on taking us up on the right of reply. INSETA CEO Gugu Mkhize responding to accusations by GIFS, among them that it's issuing certificates to learners who do not meet the necessary qualification standards. So we're going to bring GIFS in, because I think that's going to be best, so that we can get to the bottom of this issue.